Hey, it's Franklin. Walking down the street. Everybody that you meet.
A lot of us grew up watching some truly amazing shows that we were drawn to without them being overstimulating. Kids' television nowadays, not all of it, but most of it is extremely overstimulating. It has a lot of bright colors, it's moving really quickly. It doesn't seem to be staying on point as much as old shows. And people are noticing that it's taking a real toll on their kids' behavior, their attention spans. And while I would say we did have some shows growing up that were overstimulating, the majority of them were slow paced storytelling. They weren't overly bright. And so, like, they would hold our attention without like trying to steal it, if that makes sense. I feel like a lot of shows today are trying to steal attention and hold it for as long as possible. It's less about having entertainment and education for kids and more about creating an addiction that the kids can't get rid of. And I think that that makes complete sense as to why it's causing all these behavioral and developmental issues, is because, yeah, that's kind of what addictions do to people.
My son is almost 2 and I've been letting him watch Cocomelon, but now I had to get him speech therapy so I can get him to talk. There are hundreds and hundreds of anecdotes in which parents mention the exact same problem. The Cocomelon show is so insanely addictive, it's being compared to nicotine and causing developmental issues amongst the kids who can't stop watching. Children's TV expert Jerica Sands calls it the most damaging show a child can watch, explaining the sneaky ways in which they make the show addictive. Firstly, there's the colors. Take for example the wheels on the bus. The 3 main colors, blue, green and yellow, are all at maximum saturation, meaning they cannot be made any brighter no matter how hard you try. Extreme saturation is normally used for alerts and notifications, as it's exciting, dynamic and attracts attention, which is why it's also used in slot machines. Cocomelon puts these colors in perfect contrast, making them appear even more vibrant, which is different to, for example, Bluey, in which the colors instead blend together.
And especially because these are small children involved. And I honestly don't know why it's not being regulated at all. I know that might sound ridiculous, but it's preying on kids, is it not? It's trying to grab and hold their attention for as long as possible and is willing to do anything and everything and follow an exact method to do that they know works. And I would be willing to bet that it's not even, it wasn't even hidden that this was the plan. I would be willing to bet that it was said plainly that when they're making shows like, at least like Cocomelon, that, and maybe even other kids shows that I'm not thinking of right now, but that they probably said it very plainly, like, this is the method to keeping the kid watching this as long as possible. I mean, I highly doubt that it was hidden, but that was the agenda. It's really crazy how some of our brains can gravitate towards overstimulation while also feeling terrible about it. Like, have you ever sat there and scrolled on an app and just scrolled and scrolled and scrolled, and you're so overstimulated and there's so much going on. And then afterwards, you have that feeling of you did something wrong, you wasted time. I don't know, maybe it's just me, but sometimes I feel disgusting. What just happened? It feels like something took over my brain, decided it was just gonna drive me for a while. I don't know, maybe it's just me, but it's really weird, that feeling. Maybe it has something to do with I was diagnosed with ADD as a child, and now they're saying that there's really no distinction, it's just ADHD. So apparently what's happening is your brain has a fight, flight, freeze response to the stimulation that's happening, and while the brain perceives excessive input as a threat, triggering anxiety and physical discomfort, the same sensory processing issues that cause overload can also create a craving for intense stimulation to achieve regulation or focus. So apparently it is a thing. I don't I feel like it's probably not just ADHD people who are experiencing that, but I feel like it's probably maybe worse for ADHD people, which would make sense. It would make complete sense of how that would be harder for them to control, and then they just feel like shit afterwards. I think it's probably really important that we let our kids slow down, because I don't know about you, but being an adult is extremely overstimulating at times, and we have plenty of time to do that later. When you're a kid, you should be able to slow down and focus and learn and have experiences and create memories. I feel like it's going to be really hard to create long lasting memories if everything is moving so fast. I feel like the memories I have that have stuck the most were definitely in slowed down, calm situations. I just feel like with all the overstimulation life can provide, having a slower and more relaxing start to life has to be so beneficial. And I feel like memories will be harder for them to grasp and hold on to if things were never slow enough to last. And I know that that's probably putting a lot on TV. Everything is not going to revolve around TV or an iPad or whatever for them. But I think for a lot of kids, it might. And if it's going to, then it's probably at least somewhat more beneficial for what they're watching to be slow if they're going to be watching a lot of it. And even if they're not watching a lot of it, from what I can see, these other shows are more addicting. So even if they're not going to watch a lot of it, you're going to have a hard time pulling them away from it, because that is all they are going to want to do.
CoComelon's also different because it's highly repetitive. There's a reason they have 38 videos with over 1 billion views. A child's brain is wired to learn through repetition, so it feels right to them to watch the same thing over and over again. CoComelon abuses this in almost every video. For example, in the Yes Yes Playground song, they pick a word to repeat 3 times in every sentence, pairing it with a subtly repeating background lullaby, keeping children hooked. Literally no show or movie puts my son into a deep trance the way CoComelon does.
And if you're going to have a hard time pulling them away from it, let's be honest, a lot of people are going to give in. And if you're someone who struggles with your kid being addicted to shows like this, it is going to take a lot of patience for you to switch them over to things that are better for them to watch. But who else is going to do it? I don't know if it matters, but I know it matters, but she never did watch CoComelon. So she never did get that really bright, addicting, sped up kind of show in her life. Because I heard about it beforehand. I was lucky to hear about it before I had her. So she's never watched anything that far, but she has watched some things that were probably more addictive. Not that addictive, but more addictive than like the slower shows. I don't have a problem switching her over to slower paced shows. She may not be as glued in, but that's great. That's a good thing in my opinion. That's what I want. I want her to, kind of be able to get the gist of what story or what lesson the show was teaching, but for her to also be able to pull out of it. So I haven't had a problem really switching her over, but I feel greatly for the parents who will or do, because kids are hard. Toddlers are really hard. And I honestly can't imagine if she only wanted to sit there and watch TV. She actually, most of the time, does not want to be doing that. And I love that. She wants to be learning about the world and learning new things and doing new things and have new experiences. Sorry, it makes me kind of sad because, like, I can't imagine her not wanting to do that. I can't imagine if all she wanted to do was sit there with her eyes glued to a screen all day. That would break my heart. So my heart really goes out to the parents that have to deal with that and have to put in all the effort and time and patience and love and care to fix that, because it's going to be extremely hard and extremely challenging and testing, but it really needs to be done. I mean, we're already seeing, I feel like, a pretty huge decline in where the kids are today versus where they are when a lot of us were younger. And a lot of people are giving good advice of good movies and TV shows to let your toddlers watch.
Glenn.
8 out of 10. It has clear dialogue and simple moral conversations. Your toddlers hear full sentences and learn how people talk to each other. The pacing can be a little quick sometimes, but overall, it's a very good choice.
Little Bear.
8.5. Very slow pace and soft voices. It's great for early talkers who need calm, clear language without noise or pressure.
Bluey.
For speech, 9 out of 10. It models natural everyday family conversations, and it's brilliant for older toddlers and even preschoolers who are already talking and learning social language.
Puff and Rock.
Another 9 out of 10. It has calm narration with a really rich vocabulary. Also, there's no shouting, no rush, just steady language that kids can absorb.
Sarah and Duck.
9. Think gentle speech and imaginative language. It encourages curiosity and conversations without overwhelming your toddler's brain.
I really think that that's helpful nowadays, because if I hadn't had heard that I didn't need to let my daughter watch CoComelon, I might have let her watch it, and I might be in someone else's shoes today. So parents sharing good, healthy TV and movies for toddlers is great. If you have any additions to the list, that would be great.
A child psychologist has said that children should watch these 5 movies before watching anything else. Number 1 is Inside Out, guys. Now, this one literally brings emotions to life on the screen, showing how sadness, joy, fear, and anger all play an important role in child's inner world. Number 2 is a favourite of mine. It is Finding Nemo, a story about family, courage, perseverance. Number 3 is Mona. Now, Mona teaches bravery, it teaches identity and trusting your own strengths from within. Number 4 is Zootopia, and number 5 is Encanto. So this one helps toddlers begin to understand family, uniqueness, and emotional support.
Also, I think the Gummy Bears was pretty good. I can't remember if it was like extremely fast paced, but I do remember liking the Gummy Bears. But yeah, if anyone has any additional movies or TV shows that they would like to add to the list, throw them down there. Thank you guys for being here and let me talk about this, because I don't know how it's just allowed. I guess it's up to the parents. That's what it is. It's up to the parents not to let these companies hijack your kid's mind and personality and behavior and learning capability, because they profit off of doing that. And without any regulation, they're never going to stop doing that. I know it's an iffy topic, but I feel like when it comes to kids, it's up to all the adults to protect the kids. I mean, maybe that's a crazy thought, but I feel like all of the adults agreeing on certain things for young children's well-being should be inherent, and it just seems like it's not. It's really up to each individual parent, and again, I'm not perfect. I'm not a perfect parent. I think that, what is important is that all parents are trying to do their best, because there is a difference in trying to do your best and just ignoring any and every issue and just making sure your kid stays alive. It breaks my heart to think that there are some parents that will just not have the time to fix any of the issues with their children, and that bothers me a lot. But we can only do what we can, and they have to want to make changes for their children. Anyways, if you'd like to like this video, that'd be great. If you'd like to add anything down in the comments, I'd love that. And if you'd like to subscribe, that'd be cool too. If you don't, then I'll try again next time. Thanks for being here, guys. Bye.